Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Governors, I guess thank you for being here today. This was staged to be it was bound to be, political conflict here. But I like to get pretty real with each of you. I know Governor Walsh pretty good. He and I came to be, believe it or not, America, Governor Walsh and I came to be quite friendly. I consider him a friend for many years. And it was fascinating that we disagreed on almost everything politically. I doubt there was a vote we had in common, but I'm pretty sure I could call Governor Walsh and get a straight answer, even now, at least in private. But in a setting like this, it's difficult to get a straight answer because you're being viewed so closely. All of us are. So I'm going to try and be real with you. And Governor Pritzker, I don't know you. Governor Hochul, I don't know you. I can tell you that that you strike me as extremely political, and rather arrogant, quite smug, good lady. And this is a serious topic, man. We have hundreds of thousands of Americans dead from fentanyl that came across our border. Our nation suffered generational trauma for 4 years from open border policies. And we listened in ad nauseum, speech after speech after speech about how Mayorkas, who struck me as equally smug in many horrific meetings, said we need more money, we need more laws. We never needed more money. We never needed more laws. We needed an executive branch that had the will to enforce the law and thus end the trauma that the American people were continually suffering at our southern border. Now, the impact of that policy remains, and sanctuary cities are a large part of this thing. Now, I don't know the life of you three, your background. I don't know if you've held the hand of a mother or father had to deliver to them the news that their child had been killed by a violent criminal. Prayed with that person, but I have. And the victims of crime commonly have a simple refrain. Why? Why? Why did this happen to my family? And I'm going to ask you, Governor Pritzker, and you, Governor Hochul, what do you say to those people when, have you ever had the courage to speak with one in person, in private, without cameras, and when they ask you why was this horrible person invited to Illinois or New York? Why do your sanctuary policies encourage, why did this guy that killed my daughter, why was he in my state? Why?
Representative.
Don't tell me it's limited resources.
Representative.
Don't tell me it's limited resources. I'll let you know when it's time for you to answer the question, madam.
Okay.
Don't tell me it's limited resources, because we're talking about the resource of righteousness and goodness. And God controls the bank of righteousness and goodness. And there's no limit to that withdrawal. Governor Pritzker, what do you tell a family when they ask you why? Why was this murderer in my state that came here across the border illegally and was encouraged to come to my state by your policies? Go.
You said invited or encouraged. 50,000 people
invited
were
and encouraged by
50,000
sanctuary
people were
policy.
shipped to my state by a border state governor.
Bush. Own it, man.
I'm not beating
Own
around.
it.
I'm telling you, 50,000 people were shipped to my state by a
Would you ship
Republican
them back?
border state governor.
50,000 is a smidgen. We have 15 million cross the border.
I understand.
I'm glad they bust some to your state.
I have been clear
your sanctuary
about
policies
favoring border
Governor
security.
Hochul,
There was a
I'll give
bill
you the
last
last
year
couple of
on that
seconds
very
here.
subject, sir.
On the
Governor
question of
Hochul.
what
And
I'd
you
say to
opposed
that
it.
family, I would say my heart is breaking for you. I'm a mother. When you describe the pain of a family like that, I've been there. I have held victims' families in my
That's a
arms.
good start.
And I'll tell you
Mr.
this, you
Chairman,
appear
my
to be a
time has
religious
expired. I
person,
yield.
but we are called.
Gentleman's time's expired. Chair recognizes Ms. Lee from Pennsylvania.
Mr. Chairman.
I recognize ranking member for unanimous consent.
Okay, couple of things. One, I want to raise a point of order. It is against the rules to attack or to breach the decorum with respect to our witnesses. You can't.
Well, the ranking member has
You look
a different
like this,
definition
or you
of
look
attack
like
than I
that.
do.
You
That's
look
for
like
sure.
this. You cannot criticize the countenance of a witness when they come before the committee. You can raise issues, no question, but you cannot personally attack a witness. That is not within the rules. That is not in accordance with decorum here. And I would raise that same concern if
Did the ranking
if one of
member
our
not call
members
us
was attacking
Nazis?
me.
All right.
Secondly,
Proceed with unanimous consent.
Secondly, unanimous consent. I have asking unanimous consent to submit a document entitled "Trump Wants to Cut Funding to Sanctuary Cities and Towns, but They Don't Actually Violate the Federal Law."
Without objection to order, chair now recognizes Ms.